Hey everybody and welcome to the second OCTGN Open tournament. This is round 3 and we are joined here today by Luke, the tournament organizer.
Hello, hope you're good.
Gonna be a good time this one. We are having two players here in the featured match. It is Ryan and Martin. Ryan will be on the top side. On OCTGN he's called, I think, something like Ronnie12, something like that. And Martin is on the bottom side and his OCTGN nick is nytrex. I don't really know a lot about the players or what kind of decks they are generally playing or things like that. So it is going to be interesting. We'll see.
Yeah, Martin was in the first OCTGN Open, had to drop out because he went over to America, so we really
right.
didn't see what he was playing. Brian seems to be an active participant in the community, so I think hasn't really said much on deck building skills and a lot, but I'll let the players know we can go.
Yeah, definitely do that. And I think both players are 2-0, is that correct?
Yes, both players are XO at the moment.
So both are undefeated at the moment. That is interesting. Only one of them are going to be undefeated today, so I wonder who it is and what we're gonna see. If it's going to keep being mono decks or if we're gonna see some crazy anti-meta calls.
Alright, so if I scroll back, I believe Ryan said he was going to go first. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, that is correct.
So he's taking the mulligan.
nytrex keeps his hand, it seems.
Yes.
Alright, so we finally start.
Let's see what's crack-a-lacking.
The first drop is so important, and right now I feel that the meta is very much about just looking at what the opponent is playing. Because if you're playing against something like Mono Lightning, it's such a huge deal. You can't play forward early.
It's one of those things where you kind of think playing a couple of backups first turn would set you up.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's gone in the
we see
direction.
Earth and water, I think.
Of water for Fusoya.
Interesting. So we see an Earth Water Fusoya deck. Maybe I'm thinking Cecil, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe Geomancer, a bunch of EX bursts, something like that.
Yeah. So
and
that was the Liter and Waka being dropped. Interesting, he dropped the Waka.
It's very unfortunate for him that he couldn't play a 2-cost backup, so that's a little bit of a downside here for his opponent. Let's see what happens here.
So we see a Summoner and a Mateus dropped for a Bard. So possibly Mono Ice?
Yeah, it certainly is possible.
I mean, what are the good...
So is that the Edward?
Options?
Yeah, that is the 4-cost Edward. Quite an interesting card, actually. Choose one forward and dull it, and that's... He has that spell now available for the entirety of this game. That is interesting. Though keep in mind that his opponent is running Earth, so we could see a Hecaton share flying towards that Edward anytime now. Because it's going to be a threat for the entire game. Did you see what he discarded for it, so we can see his other color? Or was it Mono Ice, most possibly?
It was Mono Ice, he just discarded a Mateus.
Yuck. Cecil and Fusoya is up for Ryan. That is going to be super painful to deal with. I can only imagine something like Reaper or Kuja as a good first forward play here. Else it's going to be really painful.
You kind of have to go straight off the bat with stuff like that.
Yeah, and he's going to have to deal with Cecil. Yeah, and preferably
Cecil. I think early on Cecil's not going to be too much of a problem.
No, it's about the Fusoya synergy in my opinion, because every tap now is 12k damage, which is kind of difficult to deal with. So that's why he needs to deal with Cecil in my opinion, but it's still going to be a little bit difficult, because Ryan will have to discard a whole lot of cards if he's going to deal with the Reaper. The Reaper is such a good drop in this format, because there are so many effects that needs to target him.
He'll have to discard 2.
Yeah.
So we saw a Snow and Laguna getting discarded for the Capricious Reaper, so it makes me believe that Martin is playing Mono Ice.
Yeah, it seems likely at the very least. And win conditions like Renoa, for example, have seen great effectiveness so far.
Yeah. So if this was me, would you just... I don't know. Would you go for the Fusoya play?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because you need to set the tempo somehow. I'd probably go for economy now and wait for the next play, because and probably bait like the into a golem play or similar. Yeah. Bait the Reaper into a golem play, because the golem doesn't really have to target, so it's still a safe play.
So Leviathan got discarded for Rosa, and Rosa actually buffs the Earth Cecil up to 8k.
Yep, it's a great synergy. It's a great synergy.
It's then able to trade with the Reaper.
Indeed. And ice decks, they might be running, for example, Terra, but otherwise they have kind of few ways to deal with those small forwards. It's not like a Mono Lightning that can immediately just bring it off the table with just a single play. I
like the fact Ryan didn't actually attack with the Cecil, because Rosa can't then use her ability to reduce the damage taken as well.
He's gonna have to wait until the next turn, Ryan's next turn, before activating it. This is quite exciting though. Both having a kind of poor economy start, which is really rare. Most people run so many of these 2 costs backups. There will be no Rosa or Fusoya this game. That is a fantastic play. That's a huge deal.
So yeah, Bane and Mateus being discarded. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely believe that he's playing mono ice. Yeah. And we see a Vincent getting ripped off the damage.
Yeah, we see one way out of this, or I should say 2 ways out of this. Leviathan or Yuna with a bounce, or a Roban play, which will bring Emperor off the field. And those are just like the only ways he can get out of this deadlock, because there are no Fusoyas available and there are no Rosas available. So 2/3 of Ryan's cards are just completely vanilla at this point.
Yeah, so we saw Ryan already discarded the Leviathan, so if he's playing the full 3, he's already down to 1.
Yeah, definitely.
There's the Riona going to the damage zone.
That's not what you want to see. Definitely don't want to see the Rinoa in damage zone.
It's also to note as well that Martin's discarded 2 Mateus.
Yeah.
Early on.
He probably only runs 2. Maybe 3, but maybe 3. But it's kind of rare. And the free backup, very nice.
Yeah, why not? At this point in time, you might as well just block. You go.
Yeah, I just go for damage, to be honest, because he's on a timer now. If Emperor dies, like his field is gonna be wiped. So he gotta go now and try to sort of make a difference now. What my Mustadio! Wow, ouch. That is fantastic. That is that is ridiculous. So he's out of the deadlock now.
This will be the point where Reaper attacks and then rips Leviathan.
That is ridiculous.
The fairy.
Completely ridiculous. Yeah, that was very fortunate for Ryan. He was kind of stuck there, but that EX burst was absolutely massive. Mustadio really dealing with the card there. And we also see a Cecil effect. I'm not sure if he chose to use it. I don't think so, no. He could have used the burn on Kuja, but he chose to not do it because he didn't want to lose 2 cards over dealing with a single card.
No point.
Indeed, it's better just bait the Kuja into a golem and it should be safer. It's a much safer play.
At this point in time, you might as well just attack with the 2 damage. I mean, the Rosa is not going to be doing much at this point.
No, the Rosa is more for the future. He didn't really pay much for it. It can deal the damage like it did right now, and it will have an effect sometimes, as well as buffing the Cecil to a really like relevant level.
So Ryan discarding a Cecil and Hecaton.
Oh, Vincent. Vincent is going to be a good play, and that Rosa will have quite a big impact because it takes even more to get to Vincent now. There is no Minwo on the field now though, so there are ways to deal with him still, but the ice decks don't really have many ways to do it, and well, I can think of Terra at the moment that could do it, but well, it needs to be dull for it. Yeah.
This is the part if you're Martin, you don't play a free drop. That death penalty is going to hit for perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So it needs a 4 drop preferably, or just a 2 or 1 cost.
was Vayne getting discarded. Another Emperor.
Oh, another Emperor. Fantastic play. Unfortunately, though, Ryan might have already set up another Mustadio finally, or a Roban, so he can actually deal with an Emperor now. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see, but he has stopped, like, all 4 out of 5 of Ryan's cards have abilities that are currently stopped by Emperor, so it's going to be of the utmost importance to just stop those.
Yeah.
Really important. EX Burst? Are you serious?
He's
wow.
ripping the EX Bursts.
Yeah, the EX Bursts are sacking this game.
That is 3 EX Bursts in a row.
Yeah, that is really, really frustrating for Martin.
That's why you don't play forwards in main phase 1, kids.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, still though, that would have been terrible regardless. Even bouncing the Kuja would have been a big deal. Even if he loses a card on it, still that's probably fine depending on what he has on his hand. But losing the Emperor was really unfortunate, and yeah, I suppose it was a slight misplay, but the odds on that are kind of low. On the other hand, though, I'm assuming that nice Jill play. That's very nice. Yeah. But I'm assuming there are a lot of EX bursts in Ryan's deck because of the gameplay strategy of having Fusoya. So I'm assuming there are supposed to be extra many EX bursts, but maybe not like every EX burst. Every damage is an EX burst. Maybe that's a little bit much.
Yeah, it's the thing. If you can then get rid of your opponent's stuff.
Indeed, but the Jill play really let him stay in the game. He probably would have just straight up lost otherwise.
Yeah.
But we see Astrologian Dulled discarding a Cecil to activate Cecil, I'm assuming. Yeah. So he can now swing for 2 damage. So he's still bringing his opponent nytrex up to 5 damage, I'm assuming. It should be the best play here. Just going for tempo damage. I'm assuming he's going to attack with both characters, or just save Vincent if he has Vincent on hand, of course. No, he goes for the damage instead. Damage is more important, that is how you win the game, so why not? Why not?
And Cecil's going in.
Yeah.
And there's a Shiva.
Yeah. Dull and freeze. Quite handy. So there will be no death penalty at the very least this turn, because he can't really afford it. He can't afford using the Astrologian or a Fairy to reactivate and then use it, for example. On his next turn he can reactivate it and use death penalty though. So it's not like he's safe or anything, but it's going to be much more expensive. So the freeze on Vincent is really a good thing. Really a good thing for him. Yeah, unfortunately we don't see much forwards of Martin now because of the EX burst spree there, of course.
Fun fact as well that the Edward is now live. He's got 2 backups as well.
Yeah.
With 4 in hand. So I'm assuming he would discard the 2 in hand after attacking with the Reaper for the Emperor.
Yeah, I guess. But he's at 5 damage now. So nytrex is at 5 damage. That is so close to losing, and keep in mind that the opponent can just use the Fusoya to burn something down.
He's going to discard 2 for the Emperor.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he's got the Edward live to then dull the Cecil as soon as it activates.
He can discard a card and use the dull to stop 1 card. Yeah, it is a good play. I'm just worried that 1 Leviathan and it's still game, for example.
Yeah.
Or a Hero Yuna, for example. There are so many plays. Rinoa, nice. Rinoa is a really good play at this point because that's one of the few things that might actually save him. So that's very interesting to see. Martin though is in a really tough spot at this point. He is really pushed up against the wall.
Very potatoey. Yeah. There's a Raban.
Okay.
So the Emperor's gone. What did he discard? It discarded the deleter and dulled the Fusoya among.
Yeah, they were discussing the Mateus ruling. Opponent puts one attacking forward into the break zone, so basically you could declare an attack with Renault and then break her, for example.
I find that's really dodgy.
Yeah, it isn't a very good play, and it's not going to save Martin at this point. Because in a perfect scenario, he need to break Renault on his opponent's turn, so he stops the attacks.
You let the Cecil swing anyway. There's a Mateus.
There's a Mateus. Wow, that is a fantastic card. So we have a Cecil going into the break zone. Very nice.
Alright, so if he can dole the Rosa, Martin can win. Actually, he can dole the Rosa.
Yeah, he can dole the Rosa because he has Edward up. Keep in mind though that his opponent
does have the Astrologian.
Has the Astrologian prepared, yeah. So he still has to deal with one card. He still has to deal with a card. And I don't think there are any haste characters, but there could be something like, for example, a Shiva or similar that could deal with this. So it might still be game over in Martin's favor here, and that Renault is a serious threat for the rest of the game now. If Renault breaks, it means Martin wins immediately if there is no Astrologian prepared. So that Astrologian is absolutely crucial in the ice matchup, so it's a fantastic call by Ryan.
I feel like you'd keep the Renault active. You wouldn't attack that.
No, Renault cannot attack. If Renault attacks, it's game over. On the other hand now though, if there is for example a Leviathan in Ryan's hand, he could just bounce the Renault and then swing for game, so...
Okay, so he's defending with Rosa.
Might be a good idea. This might be a good idea. Let's see what he does here.
Stack a bit defending.
Is this something like a goal? Oh yeah, reducing incoming damage to Vincent. Fair enough, why not?
I mean, I don't think he's going to attack with the Rosa anyway.
No, he isn't, but he still wants to use that effect, just in case something happens. There could be something like, you know, Terra play, for example, on a dulled Vincent, with special for 8k. There are certain scenarios where it could be handy.
Alright, so we have 2 in hand. I don't think Martin's got much left going for him.
No, Martin would like to produce another forward just in case, because he could lose that forward.
Alright, so we're seeing another 4.
A Devout, scary, very scary indeed. Unfortunately, he discarded 2 backups to play it, so it's not like he had another option. That was better. Yeah. So the Devout is really good, and the Devout might give him the game if it goes on to his next turn.
Ooh, I've just thought something 30.
Yeah, well...
So here, to destroy the Rosa and then Astrologian the Vincent. That's...
Yeah, well, there are many ways to end this game. Leviathan or a Hero Yuna, for example, would also be enough. Yeah, there's a Leviathan.
Yeah.
Renault is back in hand, and we see a Vincent for game, I think.
Yep, it's going to be Vincent for game.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Martin running into the EX bursts there in the early game, really dulling his attack and just completely ruining his tempo there. So a little bit unfortunate for Martin, but Ryan is still pleased with his victory, I don't doubt. So he is 3-0. There won't be a whole lot of players that are 3-0. So that was nice. It was a good game despite being a little bit skewed in the EX bursts. Fortunately, we saw a Mateus revenge from Martin's EX burst, so it wasn't completely one-sided.
It's so good. At least good sportsmanship.
Definitely. Both players having been very polite, despite being lucky or unlucky, so that's nice to see.
We hope to be back with you soon with another round 3 feature match anyway.
Indeed.
And have a lovely evening, guys.
Bye.
Take care.